Hey guys, before we get this episode started, I want to thank Jeff again, AdamantiumClawsplay, for coming out, making this episode happen. I'll put a link to his cosplay Facebook down in the comments down there, or the description, down in the description. I'm not a good YouTuber. I should know these things. Link in the description. Link in the description. Link in the description. I should know this stuff, but I am not a good YouTuber. So yeah, link in the description. Like, subscribe, blah blah blah, comment. Anyways, I want to apologize for the audio quality on this episode. This kind of came together last minute, so I had my camera, but I did not have my mic and my preamp and all that good stuff that made the last couple episodes and my last couple Pokemon Go videos sound a lot better. So there's some noise, but Jeff's a good enough speaker that you get the meat and potatoes of it. So, and if you want to come on in the show, I'm looking for more guests. Whatever you want to talk about, that's what I want to talk about. Okay, it doesn't have to just be comic books or sci-fi or movies. I'd like to talk about whatever, you know. So, holla at your boy. Peace. Hi everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Graphic Dudity. I'm very excited to have my first real guest who isn't just one of my friends. This is Jeff.
Hi. Hi everybody.
Also known as, I have trouble saying,
AdamantiumClawsplay.
I always
just like the Wolverine. So.
AdamantiumClawsplay. I always want to say cosplay.
Yeah, that's it. It's a play on the words, so.
It's very clever. So, gonna start off, once again, always start off with Pokemon Go. I don't know why anymore, really, because it's been a thing for so long. They just finished the, do you play at all?
Actually, I do not. My girlfriend, my brother, his girlfriend, they all play it, and I just have not done it. And I think the reason I didn't start is I kind of have an obsessive personality, so I know if I'm doing that, I'm not going to do anything else. So, there you go.
Exactly why I didn't want to start, but my wife talked me into it.
There you go.
But, they just, you know about shiny. Do you know about shinies and stuff?
No, tell me about this.
There's, well, there's all the Pokemon.
Right.
And then there's these you can get, they're called shiny. They're like a different color, and they're like really rare.
Okay.
And so there was just a Earth Day event where they released a new shiny. It's like a whale. And of course, I didn't catch one. I never catch any of the shinies. I'm getting fed up with this game.
It's pretty tough to do then, I take it.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. They do have like these, they call them community days, where they have one certain Pokemon that's spawns more frequently during the day, and they can have shinies. That's like the only time I catch shinies.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, everybody else, like, I live in this small town, and like people put their shinies in the gym. I'm like, where'd you get that? Oh, I just caught it the other day. I don't know.
Just bragging rights.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't have any. No bragging rights.
Oh no.
Like, I've reached level 40, which is like the max level, and I've caught all the Pokemon that you can catch. Like, there's some I don't have, but you have to go to like Australia or Africa.
Right.
I don't have those. And so, like, shinies are like the only thing left for me to do, and I just can't catch them, so I'm kind of ready just to be like, alright, I'm gonna take a break from this until...
So when you do catch one, you gotta play the lottery.
Alright, go buy a Powerball ticket.
There you go.
Have you heard about Jurassic World Alive?
No, what is that?
It's a game, it's out now in Canada and Australia. It's like Pokemon Go, but with dinosaurs.
That'd be awesome.
And I found a way to where you can play it in the States. All you do is you get on your iPhone and set your App Store region to Canada, download it, and then switch it back.
Huh.
So I played that last week, but then it was really fun for like first couple days. Like there was like really rare like T-Rex's like epic dinosaur in it, and I was like finding those and like having lots of fun. And then they did this update on it, and it is no longer fun.
Oh, sure.
So,
what did they do? What changed?
well, the spawn rates of the dinosaurs like went way down, and there was like no more rares or epics. It was like all common stuff, and then you can like battle your dinosaurs against other people's, and they changed like the way the battle system works to where like before I could win most of my matches, maybe if not just like kind of 50-50. And then after that update, I was losing every time, unless it was the only time I'd win is if they can't find a human opponent for you. They'll just put a bot in there. That was the only time I was winning with the bot. And so,
it has no strategy.
Yeah, it's like beep boop boop boop, and so yeah, that was the only way I could win. And they give you, if you win, they give you these incubators that give you DNA and darts and stuff and supplies for the game. So after that kind of went, I rage quit and deleted it.
Well, hopefully the movie's better, because that actually looks amazing. So.
You've been to Jurassic Park? Jurassic World?
Oh yeah, I want to see that. I want to see the new one coming out. That's going to be amazing, I think.
Right.
One of the top movies, I think, of this year. That's what I'm looking forward to. So
Definitely. I think if we didn't have Jurassic Park to compare it to,
right.
I think Jurassic World would. I think
Oh
it's
yeah.
really good.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about it. I think that's one of the better ones out there. So
There's just no way to top like that original feeling
I
everybody
know.
got the
But
first
the
time.
music was right. You know, the emotion was right. It had just the right amount of like the CGI was believable enough, and yeah, back then that was it. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, I remember walking out of the theaters to that one, and even just the whole thing about how they kind of mentioned how the dinosaurs are now kind of the birds and stuff, and I look around. The birds, and like, wow, it's amazing. You know, you see things from a different view. You know, different point of view. So.
The great-great-grandchildren.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I'm definitely stoked for that too. That'll be awesome. Do you play Fortnite at all?
I have not. Again, same thing. I have a client. One of my clients. He's a boss at one of the places around here, and I'm not going to mention what, but I think he's on that all the time, all night, into the morning. He tells me about it all the time. It sounds amazing. Again, whether I would have a fun time doing that or if I would get nothing done, that's that's the issue. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's something that I mean has taken off like crazy. I hear a lot of people playing that, and it's pretty addictive from what I hear. So. Is that something that you're playing right now?
First night I played it for 8 hours.
Yep, that's what I'm hearing.
It was like, I think it was like 4 in the morning when I finally stopped. I was like, alright, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, I think when I started, like, you know, Skyrim and stuff like that, I mean, that's all I did, like, all night, every day, I mean, into the wee hours, getting a couple hours of sleep, and yeah, it was a little rough, so I try to be a little more tempered now, so.
Yeah. I do that too, definitely. We're in the same boat. Yeah, I'd heard about it, but I didn't want to pick it up originally because I was like, oh, I don't have like $60 for a new game, and then my friend was like, oh no, it's free. I was like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's free? Okay.
I gotta try this. It's free, right?
He like got on there and like showed me how to play. 8 hours later.
Yeah. Where'd the time go? Oh wait, I gotta go to work. All right.
My wife, what time did you go to bed last night?
Somewhere around here and there.
Don't ask any more questions, okay?
Oh, look at the time.
Alright, but first up, we're going to do our spotlight on Jeff.
Uh-oh.
What is your secret origin, sir? How did you get into comics, sci-fi, all that good stuff?
Okay.
Where did it begin?
So, I was born and raised in Hawaii, and being of two ethnicities, actually I'm Chinese, Hawaiian, and Caucasian. My dad is German, English, Irish, Danish, Scottish, Dutch, and Welsh. And then my mom's Chinese and Hawaiian. But I think growing up there was a lot of racial tension, when I'm growing up. And the white people are known as haoles. And so I was a hapa haole, I was half. And I didn't quite feel like I fit in. I had some of my friends that I hung around with and everything. But there was a lot of that kind of tension and stuff there. And so I think I escaped through, my comic books, some of the sci-fi. Of course, I grew up with Transformers and G.I. Joe. I mean, watching the cartoons of those were just amazing. And then, of course, my comic books, they got me through, kind of my own little world, and where I felt like I was accepted and I was, for who I was and whatever, regardless of race and ethnicity and whatever else. But I think X-Men was one of my main things, because they touch upon a lot of that kind of that racial differences or that divide, right, between mutants and non-mutants. So I don't know, something about that kind of resonated with me, and so that was kind of my go-to. I read a lot of the other things, I've had Batman, of course, and Superman, Green Lantern, some of the other Marvel ones, Spider-Man, Hulk, some of the main ones. But yeah, X-Men really resonated with me, and Wolverine, of course, is my favorite. So that's the AdamantiumClawsplay. But yeah, so that's kind of how it was when I was growing up. And when I moved here to Nebraska,
What year was that?
That was in '90. That was actually in '90. So, I actually just graduated high school when I moved up here. So my dad was in the Army Corps of Engineers, and he took a job up here because during that era, they were closing down a lot of the soils testing labs down there, down in Hawaii. And so he would either have to take a big pay cut and a loss of status, or he would be able to transfer up here and actually get a pay raise and a great upgrade. So so he moved up here. He was raised here, born in California, but he was raised here. And so I followed him up right after high school, along with my mom, and then my brother followed shortly after. So
nice. Yeah. Was that the X-Men comic or the show that?
It was really the comics that got me. I still have, issue like 98, almost 98 up.
Wow.
To like 200 something or 300. But I have a few missing here and there. But yeah, that was one of my main ones. The whole thing with the Dark Phoenix and of course Wolverine and the fastball special with Colossus and some of that. Those are the ones I grew up with. So I enjoy that a lot. But I still reread them actually at times.
Yeah.
So,
There's so many I want to reread.
Yeah.
I have a stack of ones I haven't read yet, so it's like...
I have a lot. So that seems to be the problem, because I am so far behind. I'm trying to go like chronologically, historically, kind of up to the newest and current stuff, but I think I stopped. I finished Messiah Complex for like the X-Men ones. Previous to that in Marvel, it was like Siege and Civil War and Decimation and House of M, and in the DC ones, it's like the Darkest Night, Blackest Night, and Brightest Day, and so I'm just finishing up that now, reading like the Justice League of America from like 2000, so I'm still trying to catch up on both of those, and I have all the stuff after that, so. Yeah, it's going to be a long
so
read.
much going on, I don't see how people who do keep up with it, I don't see how. They just got to be reading all day long, every single second of the day.
And that's just it. Like, I feel like I'm spending all my extra time trying to work on cosplays, reading comic books. I read like 2 a day at least. And I still have like Dungeons and Dragons books, like the Forgotten Realms and some of that. So I like reading those too, and it's just finding time for that. Of course, video games. I mean, you guys, I know you guys all know what it's like. You've got all these things that you want to do. You probably pick one, but I try to jump around to each one if I can, so that I can kind of get everything on an even keel. But it doesn't always happen that way, you know. So, and then there's work. I mean, what's work, right? Who wants to work?
Get that out of the way. Wasted 8 hours.
Yeah. What? Wait, we need to get paid for something?
Oh,
I forget what is that for? Oh, food. Yeah, that's it. Food and housing. So that makes sense.
Indeed. Are there any current comics that you keep up with? Like you got a pull list at your local
You know, I still collect. I've been trying to collect less now because I've been buying so much.
Me too.
I have so many of those comic boxes. It's ridiculous. I could probably make another house with that. But I am still collecting stuff. I just currently got Kirkman's art on the Hunt for Wolverine #1. So that's one that I wanted to get just because I wanted to have that. It's a variant issue. And yeah, hopefully I'll get it signed at some point. I could have got it signed when I ordered it, but instead I figured I will grab a bunch of Kirkman stuff and one day go to a Comic-Con and have him sign it there. So, man, but that's kind of one of the ones that I was looking forward to actually coming out. So,
It's definitely something more special about getting it signed in person.
yeah. I mean, it's nice. It'd be nice to have it already, but yeah, it's just something about that. So, Comic-Cons, yay. Good for you. I love you, Comic-Cons.
So, what are your top 5 fandoms?
Okay, so that's going to be tough. I was thinking about that. You know, for like movies, I mean, still my top 3s are probably like Terminator, Predator, and Aliens. You know, I mean, those are my mainstays. Those are my favorites. I want to do a Terminator cosplay in some time in the future. I really do. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of work, but
you could just walk around buck naked and I need your clothes, your boots, and your
Sarah
motorcycle.
Connor. But yeah, I mean, those are just, I mean, my favorites. I mean, I love those. You just can't beat them. Newer ones, I think Lord of the Rings, you know, happens to be kind of one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on a Rivendell elf from actually The Hobbit.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like the ones that they had in Lord of the Rings, but the color scheme is blue and silver instead of the gold and green. So,
Nice.
so yeah, I'm kind of working on that. I'm trying to make it a Renaissance fair friendly one so that it doesn't have a lot of warbler where it'll melt out in the sun. So it's EVA foam. I'm working on it now, and we'll see how that turns out. I'm excited about that. Back to the Dungeons and Dragons days when I used to play as a kid. That just kind of still has a special place in my heart. So. Yeah.
Nice.
Other than that, video games, Dead Space and Mass Effect still hold a big thing for me. Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, again, one day I think I want to try to do the Dead Space armor, and I want to do the Garrus Carrion from Mass Effect as a cosplay. I think that would be pretty awesome. And again, time consuming. So we will see. In the next 5 years, hopefully I'll have some of these done. But I guess we shall see. You know. And then other than that, comics. You know, X-Men, Wolverine, Venom, Deadpool, Green Lantern, you know, Superman, Batman. I mean, still some of my favorites there. So thus I've gotten some of those tattooed.
Nice. What'd you think of the new Venom trailer?
You know, I've heard some negative reviews about it, but I'm still excited to see it. I'm one of those, you know, nerds that I'm just like, even if it's not great, I'm still happy that it's out, you know?
Better than not having it.
Right, yeah, like I know a lot of people, you know, Green Lantern, horrible, right, this and that. I rewatched it over and over, and I'm actually getting to like it. So,
A lot of the ones that people said were so terrible, like Green Lantern and Jonah Hex, and, like, I watched them and I oh, that was cool. I liked that.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know that it was bad until everybody else started bagging on it, and I was like, really? Oh, okay.
I mean, granted, Ryan Reynolds is amazing as Deadpool, but I still liked him, even though, yes, he might not have been Hal Jordan from the actual comics with his personality. I mean, he's fun to watch, you know, and I still like the Green Lanterns. I mean, it's still, even though it might not have followed it perfectly, you know, I still enjoyed it. Yeah. And so I'm hoping same thing for Venom. You know, even though I know a lot of people out there saying, okay, how does he look like Spider-Man when Spider-Man's not in the show? So, you know, they're just going to use what they can for it, and hopefully as it goes on and they start to mesh the universes, we'll see that happen. We'll see what happens. So.
Tom Hardy's a beast. I have faith in him. So.
Yeah, I do too. He's a good actor. So.
Hopefully the studio follows through with it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good. We'll see.
Yeah, this is the time for the movies, man. I'm not sad at all. I know there's people out there that saying they're overdoing it, but I'm happy. I am happy. So
keep them coming.
Yeah, it's like cha-ching. You know they're making money, otherwise they wouldn't make them. So you guys are seeing them too. So that's for better or worse.
Everything keeps breaking records.
Yep.
So
right.
They're not gonna stop. They're just fine with me.
And no spoilers, but Infinity War is pretty amazing.
Oh, we'll do spoilers at the very end. We're going to talk about Infinity War last. That way, if you haven't seen it yet, you can
turn it off.
But we will be talking about it later. Tons of spoilers because I've talked to my brother about it a little, but I haven't really got to talk with anybody about it. So I'm excited to do that.
Yes.
What all cosplays have you done so far?
Oh, geez. Okay, so very first one I really started with was for a 5K run, and it was a Red Arrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was handmade. I had this little vest that I stitched a red hood over onto it. You know, horrible sewing skills. I made sure my mom sewed it. And yes, this was like 4 years ago. So. But you know, my sewing is still horrible. So, but I had that. I got like these red shin guards from like baseball, you know, and you know, I did like the whole, you know, bow and arrow thing, and of course I left that behind when I went running. But you know, it was fun. You know, it was the first time I ever really did a cosplay or dress up, really, because. You know, I used to do it at Halloween, and I blame my brother because he is 4.5 years older than me, and he quit trick-or-treating pretty early, and so I ended up stopping trick-or-treating pretty early. So I blame that for my cosplay addiction. So Heather, if you're watching, this is why I'm stuck on cosplay. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, you know, I went running in this, you know, the superhero outfit, and I had the mask and everything, and yeah, it was really fun. And I'm like, and I think I can do this. You know, like I could dress up and be somebody else. I could always be those characters that I always read about in my comics, and you know.
So they at the run they encouraged the costumes.
Yeah, yeah, it was a superhero run. So there's people with kind of, you know, just the little store-bought Batmans or whatever, you know, stuff like that. And yeah, it was really fun, and that kind of got me into it. And then the first one I ever got, I bought. After that was the Assassin's Creed Ezio. So I got that one, and
I went through a similar thing. Right, my first one I did was a Green Arrow that. Half of it was just like, oh, green pants I bought.
Yeah.
But some of it I had actually like stitched up myself and stuff. And then I went to a con and like saw some like better ones, and I was like, oh crap. I was like, maybe I should buy my next one. And then I bought, it was Assassin's Creed, but it wasn't Ezio, it was is it Connor?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3. And so then I went and it like, even though it was bought, it's still pretty good. There's parts of it was still hokey, so I was like, no, buying it's not right either. So like then I went back to making my own.
Yeah.
Like, I kept flipping and flopping.
Well, that's the thing. You know, for a lot of people in cosplay, it's like some people get flack for buying their costume. It's like there's nothing wrong with buying your costume if you don't have the time to do it, or you don't have the skills to be creative with it, or you just don't have the want to make it. You know, I mean, I don't see why you can't buy, you know, your cosplay. And so, you know, make it your own. You know? You just become the character. I mean, when it comes to that, I feel like anybody should be able to cosplay anything they want, whether they buy it or they make it. You know, whether you fit that build or not. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't do it. You know.
To me, if I'm walking through a convention and I see somebody dressed as one of my favorite characters, I don't care if they bought it or if they made it.
Right.
I just like, can I get a picture?
Yeah,
That's all I care about. Like, oh, they like the same thing I do.
Yeah.
They look great.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I care about.
Oh yeah.
The only time I would care if somebody bought something is if they were like entering it in a contest.
No, right, and that's something different. But that's what that's for, right? I mean, it's for you know, your craftsmanship and your showmanship and all that. But
actually, I wouldn't even care if they entered it as long as they don't win in the contest.
right.
Even if they like just entered it to get up on stage and be like,
Oh sure.
check this out. I'd still be like, that's cool.
And they do, a lot of our cons, they do that. You know, you have like kind of the walk the carpet, you know, with your cosplay, and you're not necessarily entering the contest, but you can walk up and show your cosplay and act like the character and be the character for that, you know, 30 seconds or whatever. I mean, all the power to you, you know, because there's people out there, I think that just helps you validate yourself, and, you know, it helps your confidence grow. I mean, go for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I agree. So let's see. That's the first two. How many? What are the other ones?
oh, okay. So I'll try to run through. Let's see if I can remember everything that I've done. I did do a Star-Lord, and I still
nice.
like that. That's still one of my favorites. More recent ones. I'm trying to think of my older ones. Shoot, I did the Crossbones prior to the Civil War, Captain America Civil War opening, because I wanted it ready for the movie, and I took it to a Comic-Con right prior to that movie coming out.
Nice.
So a lot of the reference material I had was very skimpy. I had like 3 pictures, and so I think it came out well for what I had to use. But I just remade it, you know, and I feel like in that 2 weeks that I did, you know, took remaking it, I think it came out a little more, you know, closer to the movie, I guess. So that was nice. I enjoyed that. I did, let's see, Darth Maul, Samurai Maul, right?
Oh, nice.
So, and that's the one I did win Best Craftsmanship on for Ocon. So
nice.
that was nice. That was one of my big time ones, because I actually entered as a novice, because prior to that I won one craftsmanship award for a Wonder Woman I made a couple of years ago for my girlfriend. And so that was the only thing I had as an award, and normally for those places they say 2 or more and you jump up to the next, you know, next tier. And so I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to enter as a novice, you know, and do my Samurai Maul. And when they didn't call me for the novice for first, second, or, you know, runner-up or anything, and I'm like, oh, dang, man, I didn't do good enough, you know, and then I got the call up for the intermediate, and I'm like, really? I'm like, I didn't even know I entered that. But it was nice. They bumped me up because, you know, they thought I spent enough time on it, which it did. I have, if you look at it, it has like these sewed-in ripcord, basically, you know, in the armor. It took me like 40 hours. I mean, I drilled every single little hole through the EVA foam, and then I tied it through the back, and then I just laced it, like lacing your tennis shoe over 500 times, basically, is what it is. And yeah, it was ridiculous, but I'm glad I did it. You know.
That's awesome.
Besides that, let's see. I did Red Hood, Arkham Knight Red Hood from the video game.
Cool.
I have that. The costume's bought. It is bought. It's the vest with, you know, the hood and the jacket with everything. I did make the shin guards and the belt myself, and then the helmet is a flip-up helmet with, you know, the no eyes, but it has these little slits that you can kind of see out. But it's nice because you can flip the helmet up so you can see when you need to. But I do like that. You know, that Batman universe kind of holds something for me. I have done Batman before. That was actually my third cosplay, was doing a Batman for Halloween. And so I took my boy out trick-or-treating, and so I was Batman. And he was like a Navy SEAL at the time. It was kind of one of his first ones that he ever went trick-or-treating at. And then I upgraded that, and I did kind of a Nightmare Batman.
Oh, cool.
But as far as that one, I want to get the original, the you know, the Batfleck style mask, you know, because the one I had was more from like the Michael Keaton series, so I didn't feel like it meshed as well. But I did do that. I have done Black Mask from Batman.
Oh, cool.
With the suit and the black skull mask. Let's see. What else did I do? Oh, I've done something. This is very obscure, but Dr. Decker from. The book was called Cabal, but it was Nightbreed. The movie was Nightbreed. And so he's a serial killer. He's basically a psychiatrist, psychiatrist. And when he takes people through to try to help them, he ends up murdering them, you know. And he finally runs into a guy who's telling him this story about this Midian, I guess is the place it's called. It's a place where the monsters stay. You know, and they only come out at night, Nightbreed. But they stay underground and they try to stay away from people. And he finds out about it, and he feels like if he can kill these people, then he's purifying the world and all this stuff. And so he wears this really crazy-looking mask with these button eyes and this crooked zipper mouth, and a suit with a knife, you know, and I love it. I mean, I love the way this looks, so I ended up making one for Halloween, and so I wore that as well, and that's kind of one of my more obscure ones. Look it up, though. I think Dr. Decker from Nightbreed, it's pretty cool, yeah. No, it's pretty cool, and you'll have to see it, but I really like the way he looks. He's one of my favorite killers as far as those horror movie ones, you know.
Even if people didn't recognize the character, I'm sure it was just very creepy.
Yeah, it just has a neat feel to it. It's just really, I mean, I have a hard time seeing out of the mask because I have these little buttonholes to look out of. You know, that's kind of what I used as my vision. But yeah, it's like, where are you? Where are you? So you guys, when you're dressed as the character, you might look exactly like them, but you know that the things they do in the movies, you just can't do in those types of costumes. I don't know if you cosplayers have the same issue, but you notice you can't really do the flips in some of these costumes. You can't run at full speed or you'll tear something or something will fall off. But yeah, it looks really cool. So I've done Black Panther, you know, just for this premiere and everything, for Black Panther and for Avengers Infinity War. We've had Patrick Stibbs on the Spot Radio usually hires some people out to do events for like the radio stations and certain bars, or like Ray's Wings, we just had something for them. Prior to that, you know, we've done stuff at Marcus and some of the car lots and stuff like that. But yeah, we dress up as the character and get paid to do that, so it's kind of nice. I like that. So
you did Jack Sparrow for something like that?
I did. Yeah, for Pirates of the Caribbean and for some of the Disney Days stuff, I did do a Jack Sparrow. And that's kind of fun because he's kind of goofy. So yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know. There's been a few others, but off the top of my head, I'm not really. Wolverine, of course, X-Force Wolverine's one of my favorites. So I did that one. That's still close to my heart, and I'm almost thinking of upgrading it a little bit, but for right now, yeah, it's kind of on the back burner. So I did want to do a Superman too, because Superman's still one of my favorites. I know he's so, you know, clean and pure and everything, but I think in the movies they're kind of making him a little more, you know, rough and dirty. But yeah, I want to do. There was an issue of Batman Superman. I think, man, I can't remember if it was like issue 41 or 43. but he wears this kryptonite-proof armor.
Oh, yeah?
And it's just sweet. I mean, it's almost like this full helmet with like one slit, almost like a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. It has like the one eye thing.
Yeah.
And then he has like an S on it. And then of course he has the S in like a metal armored plate type thing. And I mean, it's just pretty sweet. So one day I would love to do a full cosplay of that because I have not seen anybody do it yet. So,
That's cool.
but yeah, I think it'll take a little while too.
Yeah. So what has your favorite cosplay been? If you could pick one.
You know, I think my Samurai Mall, just because all the research that went into it, all the time that I spent on it, you know, and after winning for that, that kind of, you know, makes you feel like everything that you did paid off, you know.
Yeah.
So that one is probably, you know, one of my favorites. My X-Force Wolverine, of course, because it just brings me back to the childhood days when that was my character, you know, like I loved Wolverine, and even though I didn't read X-Force at the time because I was, you know, younger and they never had X-Force yet, I think that's one of my favorites, you know, so, yeah.
How do you choose your cosplays?
Again, it's just something, normally it's something that I feel like I resonate with. Maybe there's something about it that draws me to it, or I feel like I can portray the character.
Yeah.
Some of them are not forced on me, but some of them were kind of due to, okay, on the spot radio, Patrick was looking for a specific character for this, and nobody did it or had it, and so I just said, okay, I'm going to play it, you know. And Black Panther was kind of that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was looking for somebody to do Black Panther, and I asked around in Omaha. There's no Black Panther in Omaha. I don't understand why, as big as it is, nobody cosplayed Black Panther in Omaha. Maybe that's changed now, but that was my opportunity. I'm just like, okay, well, I have 2 weeks to figure something out, so I just bought something, put it on, and I played it for him, you know, over 4 times now, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, Black Panther has appeared. So yeah, but so sometimes it's just thrown on you, you know, and so I'll do it, and it's been kind of nice. But again, usually the ones I pick for myself are something that just kind of resonates with me, and that's like the Samurai Mall. The reason I picked that was, for some reason, I was looking at Star Wars stuff, and I've done Darth Maul, the traditional Darth Maul, and I'm just like, man, I should do like another Darth Maul. At first I was thinking, how can I do something where I can not necessarily wear a mask, but make it a faster application, because putting on that makeup takes like 2 hours. And, you know, especially when you have hair, you put on the skull cap with the little horns and everything. And I pre-made that, you know, I made a skull cap on my little mannequin head, and then I would glue the horns in a certain area, and I would kind of draw in with pen where the black parts went, and then all I did was I'd use the red Mayron makeup and tap on it. So all I'd have to do is like glue it on and fit it, and then I'd have to start on the face. So I made it a little faster, you know, maybe an hour, 40 minutes. But I was just like, man, to redo this over and over, it was tedious, you know, and so I'm like, oh, I want to do another type of Darth Maul, something I can do, like maybe a mashup, I was thinking. And I was looking at Star Wars, and then I was like, you know, Star Wars is based on like the samurai, you know, like a lot of their inspiration comes from samurai. So I was looking at that, and I'm like, man, I got to do a mashup. I've got to do like a samurai, you know, and I have a background in martial arts, so like my main art that my dad kind of grew me up on was Aikido, which is Japanese, you know. So we wear the hakama, which is like the big split pants that look like a dress, basically. And, you know, you could always wear like the kimono top over the gi. But, yeah, it was kind of like, oh, well, it's Japanese inspired. I'm like, well, I grew up, you know, with martial arts, mostly Japanese. I mean, I've taken other things, but a lot of it's Japanese. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to mash this, like, the feudal samurai with the Star Wars, you know. And 2 days later, I heard that Ray Park was coming to Okan.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that seals it. It's destiny. I have to do it. And so I had like maybe 3 weeks to a month at the most to do it, and I'm like,
wow.
okay, I got to do it. Boom, and I started working on it. It was a sign, you know. So sometimes it happens in the funniest ways, I guess. So,
Nice.
yeah.
What all conventions have you been to?
Denver Comic Con. That was one of my favorites. My girlfriend's the opposite. She was like, it was too busy. There's too much going on. But
So busy.
yeah. But to me, it's like, man, I love people watching. I love seeing everybody in their cosplays. You know, whether it's made or bought or whatever, or how intricate, or even if it's not. You know, like I love that. And my girlfriend will tell you the same. She'll be like, the first time I went, all I did was hold the camera. Here, honey, hold this. To get a picture of me with this person. Get a picture with me with this cosplay. I want to be with this cosplay. So yeah, I don't think she enjoyed herself as much. She wanted to go to the panels. My fault. I was like, wait. I want to get a picture with this person. Oh, look at this cosplay. So, you know, I kind of overdid it there, I think, but I loved it. And, you know, all the vendors, that's amazing to me. Like seeing all those, you know, just all the things that you can buy. I spend way too much money at those things. So. But yeah.
When I went to Denver, I spent one whole day just at panels and waiting in line for panels.
Oh man.
And then
you can.
The second day was like, all right, out on the show floor,
Yeah.
gotta get some comics signed, gotta check out the vendors. Like, there's like some conventions you go to and you can like make a quick lap and it's like, oh, I'm done already? Like, what am I gonna do the rest of the day?
Yeah.
In Denver, it's just like, how am I going to get all this done in 2 or 3 days?
It's crazy. Yeah, and I love it. I love it because there's just so much to do, so many vendors, so many things if you're looking for. And, you know, I like looking for comics. I'm sitting there 5 hours later. So, yeah, that was probably one of my favorites. But I go to, like, Kansas City Comic Con. Been to that a few times. That's kind of nice because it's more middle of the road. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where my girlfriend and I, you know, we'll go to that one and both enjoy ourselves because it's not too busy. It's busy enough for me. You know, there's enough vendors. And for her, there's still some panels and things to do, and not everybody stopping you to take a picture with your cosplay, or me stopping them to take a picture with their cosplay. So, at Des Moines Comic Con, I've been there, and that was a couple of years ago, so it was pretty new, you know. And then of course I've been to the ones here in Omaha with Ocon and Congregation when that was going on, Anime Nebrascon, of course, and some of the other obscure ones that have come and gone too. But,
Nice.
yeah.
The Des Moines one, was that a Wizard World or was that an actual?
I'm trying to remember if that was.
So I went to one.
I think that one is a Wizard World. Yeah.
I went to one of those like 2 or 3 years ago. Fun.
Yeah, it's kind of like more like what our Ocon is. I think it's, you know, it's a little bigger now, you know, but it's not Kansas City, you know. So,
Yeah. I think Denver's is like 4th or 5th biggest in the nation.
It's pretty big.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Because I thought once when I went, I thought it was, excuse me, like 80,000 people or something. And I think Kansas City's like 40,000, if I'm not mistaken. And the numbers might be different now. But
Denver's keeps, a couple of years back I looked at it and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year still. Always like, you'd think eventually it would kind of cap off, but
yeah,
I looked, it just kept going.
Pop culture. Everybody's liking something in there. So.
Yeah. That's what's great about it though.
Yeah.
It's like no matter what you're into, even like people who like aren't into like comics or sci-fi, like I've got a friend who I just ran in. We grew up in Southwest Nebraska. He moved to Lawrence, Kansas, and I just bumped into him at Ocon. Like I had no clue he was coming. He was there to see like Jake the Snake or something, like with the wrestlers that are coming out. I was like, dude, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm here to see Jake the Snake.
There you go. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, there's so much, right? I mean, there's something for everybody, I think. You know, whether you're just a family person that just likes certain things. I mean, yeah, there's wrestling, there's you know, the pop vinyls if you collect those. There's like the T-shirts if you like wearing all those. I mean, there's the artists. There's, you know, the comic writers or you know, cosplayers or
Cartoon voice
yeah.
actors.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's just so many video game people and yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
So what about conventions that hooked you, that keeps you coming back to them?
I think it's a mixture of the cosplay and the vendors. You know, I mean, I do like some of the panels. I enjoy going to those, and sometimes it's real educational. It's fun to kind of talk and hear about, you know, certain topics or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely finding things that I've been looking for that maybe I don't want to spend $800 on eBay for.
Alright.
And I'm like, wow, the Comic Con has it for $200. I gotta get it. You know, or some of the comics that, like, you know, Nebraska. Although we have a lot of comic book stores, I think I've scoured them for some of the missing ones I need, and I'm missing a few things for some of my series. I really don't want to buy it on eBay with the shipping and everything because it's just still too expensive, and I'm like, I gotta hold out. So it's the Comic Cons where I can find a lot of those, you know. So yeah, vendors and the cosplay. Of course, seeing everybody's upping their game so much with cosplay. You know, throwing in like LEDs and stuff like that. It's just amazing what people can do with that. So look forward to seeing more of that. You know,
Always getting better and
yeah,
better.
yeah, it is.
I think there's a certain thrill too in seeing somebody bring your favorite characters to life, or like as a cosplayer, having somebody else be like, oh, you look awesome, can I get a picture? I think there's a certain thrill to that too. It's just going there at all. It's just like such a big thrill. It's like, when is the next one?
Right.
Where is the next one? Let's go.
And it doesn't matter, right? Because I mean, whatever character you play, I mean, yeah, even if it's really obscure, I mean, somebody's gonna like it. You know, somebody out there is like, man, I've never seen anybody cosplay this, and then they go and want a picture with you, and that's just the greatest feeling, you know. Just your hard work paid off, or even if it's just something that you bought that, you know, nobody knows about or something, and they just like, that's the character, I love this, I read this growing up, or I watched this anime growing up, and nobody ever does this, and so they're just so excited, and you just made somebody's day, you know.
Right.
That's just amazing. So
I did Tandy from Last Man on Earth.
oh yeah, see, and I have not watched all of that. I have seen a few episodes, but yeah.
I didn't get a lot. I've done it at a few different conventions, and you don't get a lot of recognition for it, but when you do, I remember one time I think it was at Planet Comic Con or maybe Kansas City Comic Con. I was just walking through, and there's like a big line of people trying to get in or go somewhere, and I was just walking by, just out of the crowd, yo, Daddy!
Yeah, you got recognized. So that's awesome.
So even those little moments, like,
Yeah,
it's worth it.
totally is.
Just to connect with a complete stranger. Dude, I love that show.
Right. Yeah, so to those of you guys who are like not sure if you want to cosplay, it's your first time, and you're just really nervous, I mean, just do it. Be the character, and man, it's amazing when you have somebody recognize you, want your picture and stuff. It's just it's awesome. It's awesome. So
Definitely go for it.
yeah.
Doesn't matter your skill level. Doesn't matter your body type,
Right.
age, anything. Anything you think is holding you back, it's not.
Yeah.
Just go do it. Have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. So, how was Grand Comic Con for you?
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome. I had a great time, and it was a lot bigger than I expected it to be. I mean, that was a lot busier than I think anybody expected it to be. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple hundred people circulating in and out probably at every given hour or two. You know, so that was really cool, and I'm looking forward to the next one. You know, that's going to be exciting. So I'm hoping that's going to be a regular thing. Hint, hint.
I hope so.
Yeah. So anybody out there who makes that happen, let's get on that.
For those who don't know, Grand Comic Con was a convention we did a month ago in Grand Island, and it was the first year, and a fella we actually used to work together, and he actually took me to my first couple of cons. He took me to Planet, and first time I went to Denver.
Oh, nice.
Went with him. I went to that Des Moines Wizard World with him too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was on the board at the Grand, and he said, "Hey, I've got this idea. Do you want to help?" I said, "Yes, indeed, you do." And so yeah, I helped out with that, and I was looking for cosplay judges, and reached out to this good fellow, and he said yes, and
I would be dumb not to, right?
right. We had a grand old time.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It was yeah, they were just kind of, that first year was just kind of to judge, what kind, didn't know what to expect, so it was like, we don't know if there's going to be 5 people, we don't know if there's going to be 500 people, so, but it was, yeah.
Pleasantly surprising. Yes.
When I first walked into the hall, I was like, oh, this is pretty big, like some of the vendors weren't there, and then as everybody
showed up.
everybody started setting up, I was like, oh, this huge hall's getting a lot smaller. And then the next day when we opened the doors and there was people right away, I was like, it got way smaller.
It did.
It was packed all day, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is what you want.
Yeah.
So.
That was amazing. Yeah.
Had you been to Grand Island before?
I've driven through it, but I've never really stayed. Like, I think we might have drove through it. I don't remember where we were headed one time, but we stopped and ate there and stuff, and then just kind of drove on through, But it was nice having a Comic-Con down there, because I actually got to spend some time in there, so.
Hopefully we see more conventions in Nebraska.
Yeah.
That's something I've always, like Colorado, you'll have, there's one in Colorado Springs, a couple in Denver, Kansas, it seems like every town in Kansas has one.
Yeah.
Kansas City has 2, Topeka has one, Wichita has one, Manhattan has one, Hutchinson has one.
Right.
It's like, oh man, Nebraska's kind of behind.
Yeah.
So
Omaha has a couple.
I think Lincoln has a smaller one.
Yeah, I think they do this small one,
So hopefully this kind of sparks something, and we won't have to be driving to Denver and Des Moines and stuff all the time. I guess Des Moines not too far for you.
No, it's not too far. It's not too far. But still, I mean, just like that in Kansas City, it's just, within a couple hours. But still, it'd be nice to have a few more in the front door here with, all the vendors and, all that stuff. That would be kind of nice. So.
We are now to the big one.
Uh-oh.
We are going to talk about Infinity War. If you haven't seen it yet, we are going to be doing spoilers, so hit pause, hit watch later, hit whatever, exit out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler time! What'd you think?
Oh man, it was amazing! Oh, I joke about this because I posted this on Facebook, but this is my notebook. So if you girls like the notebook, this is the guys' version of that. Man, the first time I watched it, it was kind of like a lot to take in. I've watched it twice now. And yeah, the first time was a lot to take in. There was just so much going on, and I think I enjoyed it even more the second time, because now I kind of knew what was going to go on. I could look at all the little details and stuff, and it was just, every time somebody died, I started tearing, because I'm like, okay.
The only one that really got me was Spider-Man.
Really? Oh, that was tough to watch.
He nailed that
he
scene.
did.
He
Oh
should
my
get an
gosh,
Oscar
yeah.
for that. That was
Oh,
like,
you guys.
I got, the rest of them I was just like, oh, kind of, that's a bummer. I wasn't like too,
Right.
but when they got to him and he was, I don't want to.
That was tough. That was so hard to watch. Because he's young, he's just starting out, he's just trying to get into the superhero gig, and it's like, oh man. Mr. Stark, I don't want to die.
It's so
This is rough. Oh, that was rough. But I mean, all of it. I thought, like, you know, when I watched it the second time, you know, even I knew Gamora was gonna pass. You know, like I figured. I'm like, oh, okay. He keeps going back to Gamora, and there's a special place for her. So, you know, he's got it when they started talking about you have to give up something you love. I'm like, oh, I already know, you know, but
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, just knowing that she was going, and then Star-Lord would be like devastated, right? You know, and Thanos would get what he wanted, and Star-Lord still lost Gamora, you know, like that was rough, and you know, just seeing when, you know, some of them were like just kind of disappearing, and I'm like, oh man, oh, that just sucks. Like,
Right?
they're all dying.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
The only one I was like, all of them I was like, no.
Yeah.
Until I got to Falcon, I was like, eh.
Oh, okay.
You know, see, I don't like Anthony Mackie. I don't know why. There was I don't really like him in any of his movies. And then also there's like, I saw a clip on YouTube where somebody was interviewing him, and they were just like joking around, like oh, so which do you like better, DC or Marvel? And well, obviously it works for Marvel, so you know what the answer is going to be. But he's like, he's like, oh, what was the last good DC movie? It's like, have you heard of the Dark Knight trilogy?
Yeah, right.
Are you stupid? Like,
yeah, that was amazing too.
I guess he must not be able to think past like Man of Steel or something. This was an older clip, so.
Sure.
So I already didn't really like him, but after he said that, I was like,
Oh, see, I don't mind him. I still don't know about Rhodey ever since, who played him back in Iron Man 1?
Terrence
Howard. Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
I liked him. I think
right.
he had just the right amount of charisma and snark. I know he's not the military guy, which I think, who plays Don Cheadle, yeah. He plays a little more of that serious type of guy, but I really like that snarky attitude that Terrence Howard had, you know, for War Machine. I don't know. I know he's not quite the comic specific character, but just like with Green Lantern and Ryan Reynolds, I just like that kind of charismatic person on screen, you know. So
I read one time what the deal was about why he didn't come back, but I can't recall.
I thought it was because he was asking for too much money and they didn't want to give it to him. Because he knew that, Robert Downey Jr. was making like 4 times as much or something. And it's like, he wanted to get a little more than, I think, and they didn't want to give it to him, so. Which is too bad, because I did like Terrence Howard. I know some people like Don Cheadle.
I like Don Cheadle too.
Awesome, but, you know.
In that role,
I don't know. For me, he doesn't seem superhero-y enough. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know. That's just me, though.
I agree.
So.
And as much as I like Ed Norton, I definitely think Mark Ruffalo is better.
Right.
Hurts me to say that. Fight Club's my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ed, but Mark Ruffalo is definitely better. Yeah. What I liked about Infinity War, while I like the MCU movies, the reason I don't love most of them, there's a few that I really love and will watch over and over again. Most of them I'll just watch once in the theater or once at home, and after that I don't really care to see them again. The reason is it's very predictable, you know? It's oh, here's our hero, here's the bad guy. Oh, bad guy's gonna win. Nope, good guy.
Right.
It's very.
It is kind of rehashed the same, where the villain is almost the same as the hero. But I mean, I guess it works because they're making some money, you know. But Ant-Man and then the bad Ant-Man, you know, the yellow jacket.
Iron Man and
the bad
boss.
Iron Man. I mean, I get it, you know, and that's kind of. I get it, you know. They kind of rehash the same ones, but that's a lot of them are kind of origin stories too. Which back the old classic comics, that was kind of the villains. A lot of the villains were that way, you know. Like even Spidey with kind of the other animal type, like the rhino and the lizard. You know, like they're all, you know, kind of that thing. And even though they're not an evil Spider-Man like Venom, maybe, but yeah, they rehash the same villains until Thanos, I think, you know, because obviously Thanos is quite a bit different from the average hero and villain thing. So that was kind of nice. I did like that.
Good point. What I liked about it is that it wasn't just that, oh, here's a good guy,
Ooh.
here's a car alarm. It wasn't just, oh, we know it's going to happen and good guys are going to win.
Right.
It was, oh shit, they just lost.
Yeah, they
and
did
now
not win.
half of them are dead. There was one guy, as soon as credits rolled, he got right up and walked right out. Did you have anybody like that?
Yeah, I did see a couple people that did that. And I'm like, weren't you waiting for the snippet?
Right.
I mean, wait till the end.
I think he knew about after credits. I think he was just so upset, but I loved it. I love movies like that where I would rather be surprised, like Last Jedi, like how it was what everybody expected. It was the exact opposite, and I loved it. And so many people hated it. I loved it. I would much rather be surprised. I would much rather
be wrong in your, you know, theories. Yeah.
So I loved Infinity War. The other two Avenger movies, like I watched them, and like at the time I was just like, oh, this is awesome. But then like after that initial thing, like when I think about going back and watching them, it's like, I'm not really in the mood. But like this one, I loved, like loved that.
Watch it over and over and over.
It was so cool to see Thor like finally like kicking ass.
Yeah, Thor was. I like Thor, and I didn't like him much when I read the comics as a kid. You know, it's just I couldn't relate to him. You know, but like I love him in the movies. Like I think they picked the right person, they cast the right person, and they went the right way with him with a little bit of the humor and stuff. I think that's just spot on now. You know, and I love Thor right now. Like he's very cool, very cool.
The first two kind of fell flat for me, but
Ragnarok was
so
where
awesome.
they picked it up. Yeah.
And they carried it over in this, where he's just still very awesome.
Yeah, and that's just it. I think they found his niche with it. I mean, I think you've got to give him a little bit of humor and stuff. I mean, you just, you know.
Can't be too serious.
Right.
He had a lot of good ones. Rabbit.
Yeah, rabbit.
Good luck, morons. Whatever.
I love it. That's great.
Another thing I liked about it too was, on the one hand, where it was kind of disappointing to not see them like all together at once. It was, I think it actually worked better. It reminded me of Lord of the Rings, where like everybody's off doing their own little missions.
Right.
I thought that was really interesting compared to just everybody teaming up and, oh, this is the one mission.
Right.
Like it was cool to see the different groups interacting with each other in their own ways on different locations, and going back and forth between those locations kind of, I think it kept the story a little fresher.
Yeah, I agree. No, I think strategy-wise, that's probably smart that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, I mean,
right.
you have some side things going on and hope that turns the tide. You know, so.
And it was, I actually heard some theories. This is one of the only theories I saw online that actually came true, was people saying, you know, oh, Red Skull didn't technically die at the end of First Avenger.
There you go.
And then, lo and behold,
he shows up.
It's like, oh, they were right. And what I didn't know, I actually saw this in a video. It was, it's not Hugo Weaving anymore.
Oh yeah, I was wondering because his voice didn't sound quite the same.
It's, you watch The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
I can't remember his character's name on The Walking Dead. I want to say Heath, but that's totally not right. He does a lot of impersonations. There's videos online of him doing like Kevin Spacey.
Really?
And, like all these different
I'll have to
impersonations.
find out who that is. I'll have to check that out.
He's a really good actor though, and his. I'll have to show you the video of him doing the impressions once we wrap this up. But yeah, it's him. I didn't know that like watching it, but I saw a video that said it was him. I was like, oh really? Wow.
Interesting. Okay.
So what do you think was going on with Hulk?
Yeah, see, I feel like, I don't know if it's because he finally met somebody that kind of beat him down, right? that he just.
How amazing was that?
Right, that was crazy.
I did not know Thanos was that
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah, right. So yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, I guess I've never read a lot about Thanos. I didn't think he could do that. But I mean, well, I guess maybe with the Infinity Gauntlet and the Power Stone. I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty awesome. But if you guys watch the trailer to the Infinity War, Hulk is in that scene in Wakanda where they're rushing everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, the Hulk is in that scene. Why is he Hulkbuster Iron Man? Because the Hulk is in the scene in the trailer. Like, what did they do there? Is that like a surprise ending for the DVD Blu-ray or what?
I don't know. I think it's probably just trying not to spoil it.
I guess.
I don't know. Maybe it's hard to sell. Maybe it'd be too confusing. Like if they would have put the Hulkbuster image out there, be like, why is the Hulkbuster back? What's going on here? But yeah, I noticed that too. Like a lot of the promotional materials, it's Hulk there.
Yeah, which I like the Hulk, so I still want to see a good standalone movie now with him with the CGI much better. And
does Universal still own?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I think they did that Norton one, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a whole big mess.
Right. Yeah, it is.
But yeah, my original thought was maybe they didn't bring Hulk. He maybe wasn't able to bring out Hulk because Hulk would be the only one powerful enough to stop him. But even though we already got beat down earlier, but then I heard some other people saying, like, oh, it's probably because he finally met his match and that's the first time he's been beaten.
So he's kind of like,
yeah.
I don't want to come out and play.
Right. Do you think there's anything to Ant-Man not being there?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if maybe. I mean, obviously he has Ant-Man and Wasp coming out in a few months. That maybe they just didn't want to have it that close where he makes an appearance and then they figure out if he lives or dies, and then he goes right into the movie with no problems whatsoever about everybody dying around him, and he's probably his own funny self, and maybe it just wouldn't mesh quite right. Is what I'm thinking.
I was pretty disappointed that he wasn't in there, but
oh, and Hawkeye, right? Hawkeye wasn't in there either.
I don't care about
Yeah. But he wasn't. Why wasn't he in there? I mean, I would think he would be in there.
Because he's the poor man's Green Arrow.
Yeah, true.
Just kidding. I heard somebody. I've been watching a lot of videos online, and I think somebody said that he's off doing a secret mission right now or something, supposedly.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man, I guess the events of Ant-Man and Wasp are happening around the same time as Infinity War.
That might be, yeah. Maybe that's why he never made an appearance, because he's already tied up with whatever's going on now.
Right.
So
I kind of wonder if at the end of Ant-Man, if once he defeats his big bad, and maybe if he'll turn to dust at the end of his.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
That'd be crazy.
That'd be a cliffhanger. But yeah, I even forgot that Black Panther 2, Spider-Man Homecoming 2 is out.
Yeah.
I forgot that those were coming out, but still I knew even as Spider-Man disappeared, I was like, that's not gonna stick.
Yeah, see that's the only thing that got me, because you know some of these movies are coming out, so how could they have died? They almost should have left him around, even though that was a great scene that Spider-Man had, they almost should have left him around so you're still guessing, like, okay, how are they going to undo this? You know, like right now we're like, oh, they undo it somehow because Spider-Man has his next movie coming out, right? So you know it gets undone somehow, you know, but I think it would have been a little heavier if you knew Spider-Man was still around. You're like, oh wait, well of course there's a Spider-Man 2, but he's still alive. What about the others? Are they dead? You know, like are they gonna come back or not? You know. So they should have left the ones that have movies coming out before Infinity War 2. They should have been left alive, I think.
Or not released publicly that they had sequels coming out.
True.
But then, I don't know. It's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Then some people might have lost their minds or they're like,
True.
you killed Spider-Man!
What? Yeah.
So I'm not sure what to think there, but yeah. I was, as much as I was like, oh no, I was like, oh wait. Nah, they're going to fix this somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of in the back of your head. So I think that maybe is keeping some people sane, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, that they'll bring back some of these heroes.
Something.
If not most of them. So.
I think a lot of people, the biggest predictions I heard were Tony's gonna die, Cap's gonna die.
Right, I've heard those.
The only one that really came true was Vision and Red Skull coming back. Otherwise, and that's what I loved about it was all the predictions. Nope. Completely different.
Yeah. But you know, Doc Strange did say that this is the only way it could happen. You know, like, this is the only way. So there's something to it.
He totally flipped his script from if it comes down to you or the stone, I'm picking the stone.
Right.
And then he looked into the future. What is it, 14 million?
Something crazy.
605?
Yeah.
There's only one way we win.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's, take the stone, I'll take Tony.
Yeah.
This is the only way. So, yeah, there's got to be something with Tony and whatever Doctor Strange saw.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much Captain Marvel's going to play.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a neat snippet, though. So, I mean, for those of you that know the little symbol, you know, that's what she has. And so.
There were so many people in the theater when I saw it. What was that? What was that?
Yeah. If you don't read the comics and you don't recognize the symbols, I think that would be pretty big.
Yeah.
What's with the maple leaf? No, it's not.
The Canadians are going to say that?
Is it Alpha Flight? For those of you that read those comics from way back when. Yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. You know what's funny is I have the Avenging Spider-Man comics, and I guess she makes her appearance for the first time in like number 8 or something.
Oh,
I have it. I noticed it at one of the Comic-Cons that it was up on the wall for like $40 or something. I'm like, why is that one so expensive? I'm like, I have it, but I haven't read it yet, you know? And I'm like, why is that one so expensive? And he's like, well, it's the first appearance of the female Captain Marvel. That's when she switches to Captain Marvel. I'm like, oh, I guess I better read it before the movie comes out. So I'm not there yet, guys. I'm still kind of in the 2000s. So, but yeah, I'm getting close. So I want to read that and kind of find out what's going on with that. So
yeah, I'm curious about, like, I've seen some like history of Captain Marvel videos. Like, do you watch Variant?
No, I don't.
There's a YouTube channel and they do a lot of history of what else do they do? They've got different, it's like alternate versions of,
nice.
and they usually pick whatever's, like, this whole last month has been like Marvel month, where they've been doing like alternate versions of Hulk and stuff about Thanos and like who are the children of Thanos. It's pretty cool YouTube channel. But they did a history for Captain Marvel. But I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, because I back in my day it was the male Captain Marvel with the gold little locks and you know. But yeah, that's the one I remember, and of course I have a few of the Captain Marvel now, the current one, and I have some of her comics, but I just haven't read it, so I don't know what's going on with her. So.
What'd you think of Thanos?
That was pretty cool. I like that he was more believable. Of course, it helps that your CGI is getting better. You know, there's not like that divide as much anymore, and so yeah, I liked him, and that he was, you know, more, I don't know, just real. Like he had emotions. He wasn't just this tyrant, you know.
Yeah.
That he's not just one-dimensional. So yeah, I like that.
It seemed very like real world to me, the way like he was doing bad things, but he thought he was doing
Yeah.
something good, which is like what real bad
Yeah.
guys like.
They think that what they're doing is right, and so that's why they stick to it. But yeah, but it's just a different point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
A lot of the people we consider bad guys, like them and the people following them at the time, thought they were good guys.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Right. It's just a point of view thing.
So I thought that was really cool. How I was actually kind of empathetic to him. Like I didn't agree with what he was doing,
Right.
but like I saw what means he was trying to achieve,
Right.
which made it more. You get more engaged with the character when you've got something like that going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know how powerful it was.
Right. No, I think Marvel's been really good about that lately because, like Black Panther, you know, like that villain, he wasn't really a villain. He was, you know, he was brought up badly, and he was just trying to survive, and he felt like he had a right to something. And you know, when you grow up that way, you see things from a different point of view. So I thought that was pretty good, even though he's kind of like another Black Panther. Marvel. But yeah, I like the fact that he was like, you almost feel for him because you're like, man, he just got left behind. He had to grow up on his own. He grew up, you know, on the streets. It was hard, and he just had to survive, you know. And so what he was doing was based on how he was raised, you know. He didn't have any direction or, you know, the proper, you know, morality or anything else. He just knew what it was like to survive, and it's like, it's my time, you know. This is my right. So that was pretty awesome too.
Yeah. I think they're bringing it back around. Did you have any gripes about the movie?
You know, not really. I mean, I enjoyed it. I guess I don't know a lot of the backstory. I've had a few Black Panther comics, but of course, when you only have a few, you don't have a lot to draw from. So I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it. So I still like his Captain America Civil War costume better than his Black Panther one, but
I don't know how to feel about Cap with the beard and the
yeah, true. With that, I was the
most
same
people,
way.
I'm like, they look better with a beard. Like almost everybody, but for him, I was like,
He's supposed to be that clean cut,
right?
American symbol. I know what happened through the Civil War and all that. I get it, but yeah, I know he's an outcast and some of that, but he's still Captain America to me. I think he should,
Shouldn't have his clean cut, all American boy look.
Not the long hair and beard. Just my girlfriend liked it. Me, I still like the other.
I liked Thor's little quip with the.
Yeah.
See you doing my beard though.
That was pretty good.
I did have a few small gripes. I thought the nano Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
I thought that looked a little hokey as far as the CGI for it, which normally wouldn't bug me, but as much flack as DC has gotten for like Cyborg and Green Lantern, I get pretty sour about how bad of a rap DC gets because I like DC more. So
see, I like them both, so I don't know.
I like them both, hard. But I like DC more. So like when I see what I consider to be the same kind of
thing,
on Marvel, and nobody's saying anything.
Right.
I'm like, hey,
what's going on
with this? You guys
double
DC?
Standards here,
right?
Yeah.
So and some of the like, same thing with Black Panther. Like some of the tech, just like, I know it's sci-fi, it's superhero. There's an amount of suspension of disbelief,
right.
But like some of the tech that they have now, like just I don't believe Like
it can't happen.
Black Panther, where he's just like boop, and it's like a whole suit. It's like no, like,
yeah,
not
that's
even
true.
science fiction. That's not how it works. Like, even with the vibranium or whatever. I can't believe it. Like so, like Spider-Man's new suit and Iron Man's new suit.
Yeah, the Scarlet Spider or whatever. Yeah.
I know it's in the comics with the extra arms,
Iron Spider,
but
Iron Spider.
it just looked weird to me. And like the whole premise, like all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm going for the stones now. Boop, boop,
Yeah.
boop, boop, boop. He gets them so quick,
He does.
so fast, and it's just like, somehow he just knows where all of them are.
Right.
Like, there's only like, what, 2 or 3 that he really, I don't know where this one is, but all the other ones, he's just, so that just seemed weird to me how.
He did say he was blessed with, or cursed with knowledge, or whatever.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, with Tony Stark too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He did mention that, so maybe he was doing a lot of his research. But I don't know. We don't know.
Those are just minor little gripes.
Yeah.
I still really loved the movie
Yeah.
overall. It was so thrilling, and man, it was cool to see more like serious, heavy moments going on.
Yeah.
Like it right off the bat when people are dying right away, Hulk's getting his ass kicked right away. It's just
Yeah.
like right off the bat, you're just like, oh crap,
God.
what are they gonna do? How are they
Right.
gonna handle this?
Yeah, I want to see it again. Even when Loki dies, like I know a few of my friends love Loki, and so I'm just like, I know that they're just weeping inside. But yeah, it was just like, oh wow, he actually was doing something, like right for once. Cost him his life, but
no resurrections this time.
Right.
He said, yes, I need to go back a second time, but I haven't made the time yet.
Yeah.
When did you see it?
Thursday night, I watched the 3D version. I still like the 3D. I don't know.
I
I know
do
most
too.
people hate them. I don't know. Maybe my eyes work well with it, but I love it.
Me
I see
too.
the depth and so I went to see the 3D version on Thursday, and then I got passes for the Saturday one
Nice.
for doing Black Panther at Raised Wings on Friday. So that was
Nice.
nice. Yeah, free one. Can't turn it down. So,
I wouldn't.
yeah.
I like the 3D too. Like a lot of my friends are like, oh, it gives me headaches. Or,
Yeah, and that's probably why. There's quite a few out there. I think you guys get headaches, if I'm not mistaken. I've heard that a lot. So.
or some friends just think it's like a gimmick. Or
Yeah,
something.
right.
Oh, no, it looks so much cooler.
Like Pacific Rim Uprising was amazing in 3D.
Was
I watched that in 3D. Oh my gosh, that was something to watch in 3D because, I mean, you just, with all the stuff going on, you see things flying across the screen and like the little embers floating in the air, and it looks like they're like in front of you, and to me, that was an amazing 3D movie.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I saw Very Harold and Kumar Christmas.
Oh yeah, how was that? I've never watched that in 3D, so.
Oh, it was good. Have you seen it at all?
Yeah, oh yeah.
When they're like throwing the eggs, that's coming at you in 3D.
Awesome.
If I remember right, was there some part with a wiener or something in 3D? I can't remember. It was actually a pretty good movie for 3D. But yeah, I enjoy the 3D too. There's not a lot of us that do.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about it too is that a lot of other people don't like it, so there's less people in the
I
theater.
know, so it's easier to get tickets to that, but there's a downside to that. I've been buying the 3D Blu-rays, and some of them are so freaking hard to get.
Oh yeah?
They're expensive. So now that there's more of a demand because there's less of them, or they don't release it in the US and they only release it internationally, they're like $45 for a 3D Blu-ray, or yeah, some of those are real expensive. It's crazy. So that's my curse.
Well, anything else on Infinity? Any other thoughts?
No, just go see it.
Yeah.
Whether you like DC or Marvel, just go see it. It's definitely worth watching. So.
As much as I hate the DC Marvel versus each other thing, I find myself getting caught into it because I feel like DC keeps getting the
Crapped on. Yeah, I think I hear that a lot more too, and I totally agree because I like them both, and I think that's part of my split. You know, like where I'm half ethnicity, you know, of each. I feel the same way with Marvel DC. Like I have a hard time. If I had to pick one, I don't think I could. I really I couldn't. I love them both so much. I just couldn't. But yeah, I mean.
I'd much rather have them both, though.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm happy with both of them. And I still watch both of them equally. I mean, I love them. So
Hopefully someday we'll live in a. Maybe Thanos will snap his fingers. And
right.
DC and Marvel, the fans will be in unity.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. As much as people are doing it with Chevy and Ford and all, you know.
Coke, Pepsi.
Right. It's like everybody
Beatles,
always
Rolling
says
Stones.
their way is the one true way, and I'm just like, why can't you just enjoy it? I don't know.
Right?
So definitely go see it though. It's definitely worth it, especially if you're into any superhero things whatsoever. Yeah.
Definitely.
2 thumbs up.
If I had 3 thumbs, I'd do 3 thumbs. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.